Assalamu alaikum and welcome. In this tutorial, we are going to discuss about the coordination of the human animal, how different life processes of our organism are coordinated. So let's start. What are the coordinations? Coordination is the harmony of the different type of the chemical activities or physical activities that are performing in the body of living organisms, and how this coordinations occurs. We will study in this. There are basically two types of coordinations: chemical coordination, which occurs mostly by the hormones, and nervous coordination, which occurs by means of the nervous systems, by means of neurons, effectors, receptors, and our brain systems, controlling the main process. Like it is brought about in higher animals by nervous coordination and chemical coordination. There are two types. First of all, we will study about nervous coordination. Nervous coordination, there are the various processes, various characteristic of nervous coordination, in which the neurons take part in the coordinations. The part of this coordinations are the receptors, neurons, and effectors. Neurons are actually act as combinations or connection link between receptor and effectors. Receptors are for receptions, and they take the message and give to the neurons, and neurons give this message by various processes to the effectors, and effectors perform a chemical reactions and perform functions that will control the activities. In this way, the coordination takes place in living organisms. And so receptors are actually for perception. There are various type of receptors, like chemoreceptors. Receptors are for the chemicals like blood, carbon dioxide, glucose, amino acids, and fatty acids. These are the receptor present in hypothalamus. This is very important MCQs. Then mechanoreceptor, it is for the mechanical stimuli, like touch, pressure, hearing, equilibriums. These are free nerve ending, expanded tip ending, and straw ending. It is also very important how their endings are. These are free ending, or nerve ending, or stray ending, or expanded ending. Then photoreceptor, these are also called electromagnetic receptor. We know the photo light is both consist of the electrical and magnetic properties. These respond to stimuli of light. For example, these are the rod and cones of the eyes, are the photoreceptors. And thermoreceptors, they respond to the heat and cold. And nociceptors are undifferentiated ending, which is give response to the, which take message and receptions from the um, pain signals. Then each of these type of sensations, like heat, cold, pains, and chemical receptions and photoreceptions that we normally feel, is called modalities of sensations. Then there are the various type of receptor present inside the body of living organism. Like there are many type of stomach walls. There are many type of the receptor present, which give respond or give signal for the arousal of hungers, like stretch receptors. In the carotid and aortic arteries of tetrapod have important role in the regulation of blood pressures, and ending similar properties are found in the bacterial vessels of the fishes. Then we will study about how take the concept of how different type of sensations are felt by us when neurons only transmit nerve impulses. It is because each type of the principal type of sensation that we feel, and in a proper area of brain, like touch stimulus, and in the touch area of brain, and light receptions, and in the visual cortex of brains, and in same vital warmth and heat and cold. And there are also specific type of receptor for the reception of these particular type of material. These are the two basically type of area of brain, and specific type of specificity of receptor that control the particular type of receptors or signals for a particular type of area of brain. And we felt different type of sensations. How sensory receptor are working, there are we will study about these endings. There are three ending of sensory receptors for touch, pressure, heat, cold, and pains. Five type of modalities of the sensations. these situated at the base of the hair and organs receive touch stimulus. First is the receptor that are present at the base of hair and organs. These are the basically first type of the endings. Then there are the Meissner corpuscles. These are encapsulators lying in the papilla that is found in the fingertips. These corpuscles are spiral, much twisted, and each with its end in a knob. These are called touch receptors. And third are Pacinian corpuscles are for pressures deep situated deep in the body. They are also encapsulated and they are located in the limbs, probably from the basis of the vibration sense. Vibration that is usually occur in the joints are heard by Pacinian corpuscles in the limbs. They are found in the limbs. It is also a very important informations. Then we will study about the intensity of different type of receptor. Like there are more receptor for pain, 27% more than cold receptor, and cold receptor are even 10% more than heat receptors. And receptors are distributed also non-uniformly. Like at the back of the organisms there is a little touch receptor, and at fingertips there are many touch receptors that are beings. And detections of vibration of ground by terrestrial vertebrate is probably achieved by receptor in joints. And which type of receptor in joints are, and they are actually endings are the Pacinian corpuscles. They are touch receptors. Again, stimuli received by receptors in seconds pass to the motor neurons. First of all, there are the receptors. They send message to the sensory neurons. Then sensory neurons send message to motor neuron, and via associated neurons. First receptor, then sensory neuron, then interneuron in spinal cord, in brain, or then motor neuron, and motor neurons send this message to particular type of factor. This is the complete pathway for particular type of the receptions. These are the five particular type of the components that occurs along the way of nerve impulse. These are the different type of the photoreceptors. Like these are the free nerve endings. Pacinian Meissner corpuscles for touch, Pacinian corpuscles for pressure. They are situated deep and their shapes are also given. They are very important. Then sensation of touch, pressure, heat, cold, and pains are detected by modified sensory neurons. And for the touch, and for the pain receptor, they are naked ending. And for particular type of pressure, heat, and cold, they are very specialized. So it is very important. For touch and pain they are naked, and for pressure, hot, and cold they are very specialized. Then we will study about neuron, the basic structure and functional unit of neuron. In nervous system is the neurons, and some other organisms neuroglia is also present, which is also a nutritious source for particular type of neurons. Then we will study about different type of neurons. There are here are the different type of neuron. We will study about it. Here we will study about the structure of particular type of neuron. Here we are with a motor neurons at a particular type of C. It contain, here is the cell body, also called cell bone noma. There are the cytoplasmic processes, dendrites, that take message toward the cell body. And here is the axon that take message away from the cell body. And here are the myelin sheath over it. And here are the nodes where there is no myelin sheath, like it is here. Here is the myelin sheath. Here is no myelin sheath. Here is the myelin sheath. And for it from it the nerve impulse jump from one node to another node. And these particular type of reactions are called saltatory impulses. Like action potential jump from here to here, and in the same way. This was a particular type of neurons, and then we will study about different type of the terms that are here, like we will study about dendrites and axons. Then we will study about nuclear granules, which are the group of the ribosomes associated with endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus, and this is also present in a cell body. It is the component of the cell body. Then microtubules, neurofibrils, rough endoplasmic reticulum, and mitochondria are present throughout the exoplasm of the neuron. What is meant by exoplasm? And exoplasm is a cytoplasm of axon is called exoplasm. Then cell body or soma, also called cell body, are the main nutritional part of the cell wall and is concerned with the biosynthesis of material necessary for growth and maintenance of neurons. All the particular type of growth factors for neurons produce here in particular soma. If the cell body of the neurons remain intact, it can regenerate axonal and dendrite fibers, but neurons once mature do not divide any further. Keep in mind that there is no cell division in mature neurons. There are all like centrioles type of in these, and there is no divisions. But if our cell body is intact, the particular type of neurons can be regenerated with particular type of processes. Then there are factors. These are the substances. These are the components. Third components. We have studied about receptors. We have studied about neurons. We have studied about mm, mm, we will study about a factor in this way. A factor are the end resulters, and they produce a result after receiving a particular type of stimuli. These particular type of receptors are the glands and the muscles. Glands by secreting and muscles respond by contracting. So these are the particular type of effectors. We will study about different type of the neurons, like here are the particular type of neurons, dendrite and axons, and here we have sensory neurons. And what is the look of dendrites? Dendrites give a spiny look. It is very important. Dendrites give a spiny look. Then dendrite of certain brain cells profusely are in a group, giving a tree-like appearance. Here is the tree-like appearance. This is the axon. This is the dendrite, and giving a tree-like appearance. And it is the particular type of the neuron of brain. It may be interneurons. Here is our motor neurons. We have studied about it. Dendrite, axons, Schwann cells. Schwann cells are the particular type of cells that produce myelin sheath. Then it end in the muscles. You know that at one side they are in particular type of nervous systems, at other types they end in particular type of factors. Here are the muscles. You know who are the muscles. Who are the muscles are the particular type of the factors that give response, and the junction between neuron and muscle is called neuromuscular junctions. You know, here it is the neuromuscular junctions. Then we will study about sensory neurons at a particular type of sensory neuron of some sensory neurons have dendrites, single dendron. It often have single dendron like here, and it is like particular type of axons. Like at a terminal part, it is like a dendrite. Here are the dendrites, but at other part here it is like an axon, and there are also myelin sheath coverings as it direct particular type of message toward the cell body, so it is called dendron. And below pore part is take message away from the cell body. They are called axons. Then there are the end terminal of particular type of axons. These are called axon terminals that give that help in synapses and connections with other type of neurons or other type of muscles or factors. Then we will study about reflex arc. Reflex arc is a particular type of involuntary actions which occurs by way of spinal cords. Then we will study about pathway. Pathway is a particular type of reflex action is called reflex arc. Flow of impulses, we will study about flow of impulses. There is a pain sensory ending in our skins and we feel the pain. Here are the nociceptors. It gives message toward the particular type of sensory neuron. Here is also our sensory neuron. It take message to the dorsum of the ganglion. So dorsal root ganglions of the spinal cord. A dorsal root ganglion is for sensory impulses and it is synapse with interneurons. Here are also associated neurons or interneurons in brain or spinal cord. Here they are in spinal cord and it synapses with the motor neurons. It again makes synapses with the new motor neurons that is also in a brain, and at the other side it is attached to the give neuromuscular junction to the muscles. It is our particular type of factor in this way, and we feel pain. And this particular type of the muscle is contracted like biceps, and we are away from damaging stimuli. These particular type of sensory neurons also form impulses with brains, and this particular type it is not involved in reflex actions, but it give the pain signal toward the brain, awareing us of the damage how is happening. This is a particular type of the reflex arc actions. Then we will study about nerve impulse. Nerve impulse is actually the wave of electromagnetic changes that occur along the cell membrane of neurons. Like here is our uh, cell membrane of neurons. Mostly at there are also charges inside and outside, and in this way a particular type of voltage is created, and at rest which particular type of voltage or particular type of like like electric potentials that is created here are called resting potentials. At resting potentials membrane is more positive outside than inside, and we will study about how it is possible. So there are various type of ions in the cells like sodium and potassium ions. Sodium are almost 10 times more outsides, and potassium are 20 times more insides. Potassium are here greater and sodium are here greater, and potassiums are so here low and sodium are here low, and it has a particular type of ATP sodium potassium ATP is pumped. It pumped 2 potassium inside and 3 potassium outside, 3 sodium sorry outside, and as 3 sodium goes out of the membrane, then outside of membrane become more positive and inside become more negative. And there are also negative organic ions like organic acids, proteins that are more inside than outside, so inside become more negative. It is the other cause. There are also leakage of the sodium ions from the neurons, like in the it is our neuron membrane, and it is permeable for potassium ion, not for sodium ions in a resting membrane restings, and it can diffuse out. And diffusion of particular type of positive charge from particular type of membrane create a negative charge inside the neuron, then it maintains these, and there is no conduction of impulse. These are the 4 particular type of the points of resting membrane potentials, and these are the most important causes of positive membrane outside and negative inside. These are the sodium potassium pump, and other is the leakage of sodiums. Then we will study about, here are is a particular type of explanations like more sodium is outside, less sodium inside, more potassium inside and less sodium outside. Here is the action of sodium potassium ATPase pump. 3 sodium are moving out and 2 potassium are moving in, and there is also the consumption of energy, and so potassium are also leaving the membrane by diffusions. It also create negative charge, and here are also organic ions negatively charged like proteins insides that make the membranes more negative insides. So we will study about action potentials. How action potential occurs? It occurs by initiation of nerve impulse. How nerve impulse occurs? By action potentials. Action potential occur from move from one neuron to another. When a particular type of neuron is stimulated, there should be it should be stimulated for particular type of initiation of nerve impulse, and the stimulus that cause the particular type of nerve impulse to flow is called threshold stimulus. And if it is unable to produce particular type of the nerve impulse in a membrane, it is called subthreshold stimulus. It is the basic difference between threshold and subthreshold stimulus. When threshold stimulus reaches, it produces certain changes in the membranes like sodium. There are the important like sodium gates are opened, and more sodium moves inside, and sodium moves inside, and inside a positivity is created here. And when inside positivity is created, outside membrane become more negative, and charges are reversed. Like here is the stimulus here there is the sodium movement inside, and inside become more positive. Here the inside is more positive, but it occurs for only for milliseconds, like 2 to 5 milliseconds the whole process take part. And here are the graph for particular type of stimulus. Like here is our depolarization, means action potentials. There is no action potential and cell is at resting membrane, and at resting membrane it is about 70 millivolt negative. Like here is negative at 70 millivolt negative, and there is polarizations. Then start depolarization when sodium gets opens, and depolarization it reaches to zero and goes to positive sides and almost reaches to near 50 millivolt positive. And here is the action potentials. Then action potentials, then the process also reverses. Like sodium gates are now closes and potassium channels are opens, and potassium are moving outward. So the potassium is moving outward, the outward positive potential is again created, and it start here depolarizing, repolarization again, sorry. When more and more potassiums go outward, then it also called hyperpolarizations. Here it can reach to up to minus 90 to 100 millivolts. And there is then also reversal of the particular type of ionic balance. Like potassium is moved inside and sodium outside by sodium potassium ATPase pump. Here is the whole passage, like passage of nerve impulse occur, that action potentials, membrane potentials become outside and more negative, inside and positive, and it is positive 50 millivolts. And we will have studies about also saltatory impulses, that at node of rain where impulses move from one node to another node, it is called saltatory impulses. And speed of motor of particular type of myelinated neuron is 100 to 100, and maximum is 120 meter per second. Synapses, we have already an idea about synapses, that there are two particular type of neurons. Like here is the neurons, here is our dendrites, Here is our cell body, here is our neurons, here is axons, here is our axon terminal. At axon terminal there are the dendrite of next neurons, and there is the cytoplasmic gaps between them. So these are and these particular type of connections, a particular type of two neurons is called as synapses, and the gap is called as synaptic cleft. And here the message transfer from one neuron to another neuron. This particular type of connection is called as synapse, and nerve impulse passes from one neuron to another neuron through this particular type of synapses. And more than two particular type of more than two or more than many type of particular type of impulses are required from for synaptic neurons. Presynaptic neurons are neurons that is before the synapse, and postsynaptic neurons is the neurons that is after the synapse. And more than one stimulus are needed for particular type of impulses, or impulses from more than many neurons needs a particular type of impulses, because impulse from a single neuron not necessarily cross the synaptic left, because there is the little bit gap in a chemical synapses. And for electrical synapses there are the cytoplasmic connection between two type of neurons, but in chemical there is no cytoplasmic connection, there is synaptic cleft. And here are the chemical releases, and the chemical releases bind to the, here is our synaptic knob where synaptic synapses occurs. It is at presynaptic neurons, and there are various type of chemical secreted from presynaptic neurons. These are called neurotransmitters. They are packed inside the our presynaptic neurons, and they releases in synaptic left and reaches a particular type of postsynaptic neuron. Here is the receptor for them, and they receive. And when they are received, these particular type of neurotransmitter like acetylcholines, epinephrine, norepinephrine, serotonin cause particular type of membranous changes like sodium inward and potassium inward sodium, and also cause the new action potential to transport. Like here is our presynaptic neurons, here is our postsynaptic neurons. Here are our synaptic vesicles fusing with the membrane of presynaptic neurons, and then they release particular type of neurotransmitter that is attached at particular type of receptors. The receptors are attached for are on postsynaptic neurons, and it causes various type of chemical changes. And what type of organelles are present at synaptic synapses? These, there will be no nucleus, because nucleus is in the cell body. There are mitochondria, there is synaptic vesicles, then these are the perisynaptic neuron, postsynaptic neurons, synaptic left. We have to know about it. And neurotransmitters are acetylcholines, adrenaline, noradrenaline. Acetylcholines is outside the central nervous system. Then there is the evolution of nervous system, it is not included in our syllabus. Then there is nervous system, brain is also included. We have to follow the basic divisions of the nervous systems in the man's, then we will study about brains. Then nervous system is composed of central nervous systems like brain and spinal cords, and peripheral nervous systems like composed of sensory neuron and motor neurons. These are transmit signals between central nervous system and rest of the body. Central nervous system is the composed of brain and spinal cord. Brains receive and process sensory information, initiate responses, store memories, generate thoughts and emotions. Then spinal cords, it conduct the signals to and from the brains, control reflex activities. Reflex activities we have also studied about it. Then motor neurons carry signal from central nervous system to affective, and sensory neuron carry signal from receptors to interneuron in the central nervous systems. Then there are the motor neurons from somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. Somatic nervous system control over the movement that are voluntary, like controlling our skeletal muscles, and autonomic movements systems control involuntary responses like influencing organ glands and smooth muscles. And autonomic nervous system is of two types: sympathetic division and parasympathetic divisions. Sympathetic divisions for fight and flight, prepare for emergency situation, and parasympathetic nervous system is for particular type of normal activities, and it's make us normal. Here is our end of the lectures. We will study a separate video on a particular type of brain. There will be a separate video on human brain. Here is our central nervous system and brain, different top types of brain, different part of brain and spinal cords. We will study about central nervous systems